Excellent. Okay, well, thank you so much, everybody. Really, really pleased to be here. Sorry for the delay there, a little technical issue. I am Laura Higgins, Director of Community Safety and Civility at Roblox. I'm absolutely delighted to be back here at Games for Change. I've been here presenting a couple of times, something a little bit different this time. We are going to be talking with some of our Roblox developer community today, which I'm really, really excited about. So a very quick introduction. Could I go to, sorry, a little introduction to Roblox first is probably the best place to start. I'm sure many of you will be familiar with what Roblox is, but just in case, Roblox is made up of millions of 3D immersive experiences, all created by our global developer community. Our mission is to connect billions of people in the metaverse with optimism and civility. Our platform enriches the way that people connect and create and express themselves through shared experiences. We have over 50 million daily active users, with half of our community made up of over 13-year-olds now. In 2021, we had huge growth. So we had 353% year-on-year growth in the number of first-time female users coming in to use Roblox Studio, which is our creator platform. And very similar, 323% growth of male creators using it for the first time. So we're seeing a lot of new talent coming onto the platform globally, co-creating this metaverse together with us. And there are two things that really distinguish Roblox. So one is our focus on civility, and the fact that while we're building this metaverse, we believe it needs to be co-created with the community that it's serving. We can't do it for them. And everything on Roblox is community created content. So we see our role as to enable the secure and accessible economy, and a positive user experience. We provide the tools and the systems and the pipeline and the rules to help the community self-organize, but the developers and creators on our platform have access to various tools that they use to publish content with very little friction, and successful experiences range from everything from single developers, small indie teams, right through to large professional development studios that have grown and joined the platform. We're seeing huge movement on the platform of the community creating for good. More and more experiences now have purpose, whether the spaces are about being a place of mindfulness or highlighting a specific topic or issue that people need to know about. We know this is what's echoing what's happening in the real world. Young people are becoming more and more passionate and engaged in different civic matters, and want to take control of issues that affect them. So we've seen it with things like climate change, conservation, wellness, mental health, and so on. So now that's enough from me, I think. I'm going to introduce you to our amazing roundtable participants today. We're going to dive into how they are propelling change and helping to co-create a more inclusive and meaningful metaverse for everybody. Sigmund, please can you introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you so much for having us. It's awesome being able to talk about this. My name is Sigmund Bjørnhaug, and I'm from Norway, and I have been doing game development on Roblox since 2007, so pretty long time. Aside from creating my own games and experiences and Roblox being sort of a hobby for me, I, in 2016, started doing more professional contracts with Roblox on brand activations like Ready Player One, Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, and Walt Disney Studios titles. And then in 2020, I came across a company called Untamed Planet, where they wanted to build games based on nature for kids and teens to inspire them to learn more and take care of, and subsequently having funds go directly to nature conservation projects from the games. So to me, this has all been a combination of my love for storytelling and game development and saving the world at once. Looking forward to talking to everyone today.
Amazing. Thank you, Sigmund. Jennifer, can you tell us a bit about yourself, please, and your background and how you're involved with Roblox?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Jennifer Towne. I'm a 20-year-old environment artist from Chicago, Illinois. And yeah, I've been working on the platform for around 10 years now. So, a decade, no problem, right? My most recent position was working with Sigmund on Untamed Planet working on environment art and 3D modeling and stuff like that, redefining the style. And yeah, I think that's it from me.
Thank you. And Bryan, could you introduce yourself, please?
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Bryan. I live in Florida. I'm a 3D journalist and the CEO of Aquatica Studios. I also study animation at the University of Tampa. I've been developing on Roblox for almost 8 years and worked on games such as Westbound and scuba diving at Cool Lake. I've also worked at Roblox as an accelerator and a contractor. Outside of 3D, I got my full cave and rebreather certification and dive with Karst underwater research, documenting and exploring cave systems in Florida. And this leads to my current project about ocean conservation. And it's called Mizu, and I can't wait to talk to everybody about it today.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited for this session. Thank you all of you for joining us. You have such lovely stories to tell. So let's dive right in. Sigmund, can you tell us a little bit about a bit more about what Untamed Planet is doing and what the journey is and what the mission is?
Yeah, for sure. So Untamed Planet is trying to modernize conservation, how that's done. And we want to use technology where we can to really drive funds back to nature. Currently, a lot of conservation happens on a donation basis and not-for-profits doing a great job, but it relies on those donations. So we were thinking, hey, can we gamify this and turn a for-profit but for nature sort of thing? So we came onto Roblox because I had a lot of experience in Roblox, and our founding team largely stems from the conservation world. So combining sort of their experience with that and like the real world impact with my experience on building experiences in communities on Roblox, we tried to see if there was a recipe or formula we could find here. And it's what we call play to protect. So when you play in our games, funds are allocated towards real conservation projects.
That sounds amazing, and I'm sure we're going to dig into it a little bit more and see what some of the outcomes of that have been. Now, Jennifer, I actually already knew you as well before we did this panel. I know that you are, of course, part of the Untamed Planet team and have been working with them. But as you say, you've been on Roblox quite a long time. I hope you don't mind me sharing, but I have a sounding board of amazing young people. Then Jennifer's been one of those people who's been really helpful for me over the years of understanding some of the issues facing our community and areas where they need support or feel that we could sort of focus our civility efforts. So it's absolutely lovely to have you here. But also, your journey with Roblox has been really, you've done a lot of stuff around some of this kind of awareness raising around things like mental health and well-being. Could you tell us a little bit about that as well, please?
Yeah, certainly. So Roblox is just this hub of creation, you can really make anything on the platform, from experiences to games, but I found that creating environments that were meaningful and had like a story to them of sorts it was really important to kind of advocate for mental health and tell a story and just really get the word out there with certain just stories and things. So yeah, I mean, I've been working on the platform for some time now, and I've developed some showcases like Tranquility, which is a kind of like a blacksmith cellar situation. But the focus of that is that the child of a father who was a blacksmith kind of takes over their father's job once their father leaves for an unknown reason. So, it's kind of stuff like that where you can fill their shoes and kind of, pretend like you are that person for a bit and maybe even gain a new perspective. And then there's also a showcase called Silent Serenity, which is a Christmas-based showcase. And that actually really helped during the pandemic, which was not our intention. It was more meant for just celebrating Christmas and coming together. But what ended up happening during the pandemic was that people would join the game and celebrate Christmas virtually because they couldn't do it in person. And I even heard one instance where people even did a Secret Santa sort of thing. So they sent gifts to each other and then sat down together in game and in a voice call and opened gifts together. And it was just magical to hear something like that.
That's so cute. I love that idea. Thank you, Jennifer. That's a lovely overview. And Bryan, so obviously we've got the clue that Aquatica. So tell us a little bit about what you're creating and what your mission is.
Hi, thank you. Aquatica is pretty much an open underwater game that gets people involved in conservation through kind of really accurate and complex underwater environments and ecosystems. And you can dive these ecosystems all over the world. And also in the side, learn about ocean science, diving, sustainability through like beautiful storytelling and engagement. And our plan for this game is pretty much to get people connected, the younger generation connected, and learn and participate in conservation efforts, and even pursue a career in game design and related fields in the future.
That's amazing, and obviously we've all spotted the diving tanks behind you. Adds to the authenticity, I think. So that's really helpful to understand a little bit about what you've been working on recently. I think you're all quite experienced in terms of what you've been doing and what you're on the platform. So what do you think really are the opportunities and benefits of building content on metaverse platforms like Roblox? So do you build exclusively on Roblox? Obviously, there are some benefits with us. We're a very social platform. The fact it's kind of accessible on different devices. We're a global company and used all over the world. What are the things you think make it attractive to build on? Sigmund, let's start with you.
Yeah, sure. Although the list is very, very long. It's easy access to so many users globally and a very low threshold to get started, and even just prototyping concepts or creating social experiences which aren't necessarily games. Roblox has really developed the past couple of years to become more than games, but also games, and that's really cool to see. And seeing more places like Jennifer talked about here, social hubs where people can come and just find their online family and community. I think Roblox and other platforms like this really offer that, which is quite new in this era of technology. So I think maybe tying people together and connecting people so easily is really, really good. And that's also part of why we decided to be on the platform, because you have access to such a vast range of players in all ages, essentially. And they can play on their hand-me-down telephone, and really just get in there with their friends on the way to the school or after school or, whenever.
Yeah, I think that's certainly something we see a huge amount of, that kind of, as you say, it's that ability that you can do so many things. It is not just a games platform, it is a social space, it's a creative place. Jennifer, obviously it's kind of easy segue to sort of come over to you from what Sigmund was saying. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, like Sigmund was saying, it's a really good place to iterate. I think prototyping is so important on the platform, and it's sort of unique because you kind of have to plan around the idea that people want constant updates or a lot of content updates. So you really have to find your community early and iterate on that. And that's actually something that we really had to focus on for Untamed Planet's game called Untamed Animals. There was a lot of prototyping and kind of figuring out what our gameplay loop was and that sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, I think that's certainly a huge benefit, is that there's a low risk aspect of prototyping and testing, what the community may like, what they may not like. And yeah, other than that, it's really easy to kind of network and get to know people. I've known all of you for some time now, and it's just through simple interactions through games or messages through, other social platforms. But overall, it's just one big community that's totally willing to share their knowledge and connect to each other. And I think that's just incredible. It's really awesome.
Oh, that's lovely to hear. I think that's mission accomplished. Bryan, obviously, Sigmund sort of talked about the fact that it's really easy access. it's low cost up front and all of those sorts of things. Obviously, when we're thinking about creating these spaces that have like, social causes or whatever, is that one of the things that attracted you? Was there anything else that you kind of, what was your reason with Roblox particularly?
So, Roblox is just one of the easiest and most friendly to use. It also helps that you have a ton of experience, or helps now that I have a lot of experience and been playing on the platform at a young age. So knowing the platform is really good to have. There are so many opportunities to create experiences that not only engage players but also educate players in any topic that you choose. And this is truly a platform where your imagination can run free and create anything that your heart desires.
Thank you. And I'm going to kind of just sort of jump ahead a little bit there, Bryan. So obviously, you've got this huge open world scuba diving game that you're creating. What's the sort of impact the social element of Roblox has had? Do you have community around that who are kind of sharing ideas and talking, and how does that work in terms of your experience specifically?
So as of right now, the community is quite small in ocean conservation and scuba diving on Roblox itself, but I've managed to find a lot of people who are like-minded and love the ocean. But our main goal with this is to build the community, and find the people who are really interested into this niche, and serve and find more people that are also interested.
Oh, I mean, that's lovely. And so the same sort of question, I'm going to throw this to both Jennifer and Sigmund together, thinking about the fact that you are collaborating together. How does that work? Jennifer, I know that you've been very active in various communities, both on Roblox and on other platforms around Roblox, and in that kind of find your tribe, meet your community kind of thing. But how does that work from a creator standpoint? How do you sort of come together with these ideas and collaborate?
Go for it, Sigmund. All yours.
Yeah. So for Untamed Planet, it's been pretty awesome seeing what the crowd can do. We've essentially started a formula for crowdsourcing conservation. And what we've been doing is that based on what you do in the game, we set aside money. So a digital interaction leads to real action is sort of the backbone of what we're doing. And back in April, May last year, we actually did our very first conservation campaign in the game. That was just a couple of months after the game had launched. So we incorporated black rhinoceros into the game and allowed players to feed this digital rhinoceros. And based on who participated, or how they participated and how often and so on, funds were set aside from our game revenue to fund real life black rhinos in Kenya. So that was sort of the first testament to that, hey, maybe we're onto something here and can do something useful with the games and try to make a change. So even if it wasn't a ton of money, it was still, I think our community raised $10,000 in just 1.5 weeks from playing, and from also individual donators donating straightly through our game from their own digital currency Robux, and so on. So it kind of blew a little bit up and really just gave us a stamp of approval that, hey, the community likes this. People want to be part of something, and sort of lowering the threshold for people to be able to participate in things like this, I think is really important. And that's where Roblox comes in.
As I say, I am so impressed. I mean, you're saying, oh, it's not a lot of money. When you think our community are predominantly under 25, having that kind of support, people getting on board, getting so excited, and then also wanting to go that further step and actually, financially support it. That's really, really amazing. So yeah, well done. And I'm sure it will drive further change. As they, as you say, it's made people a little bit more aware of some of these issues, and hopefully they will then carry that forward themselves. Okay,
yeah,
so I want to
just cutting in, the really, really cool thing about it was also that as people sort of played through the campaign, they unlocked the rhino to have as a companion in the game. So the more people participated, the more sort of word of mouth it became, and even then more people participated. So it was this kind of snowball effect as well, which is crazy.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I would like to touch on then, so thinking about this kind of next generation, and so what makes experiences successful? And so looking at, what best practices, how do you keep updating your experiences to make sure that you're still engaging and keeping it interesting and then still raising awareness? How do you kind of listen to the community, make sure that what you're doing is still kind of where you should be and where your focus should be? Let's start with you this time, Bryan. What would be your top 3 success tips?
So based on the experiences that I've released before, engaging with the community is really important. Content creators such as YouTubers and streamers, and also always updating your game and providing the player base with new content.
That sounds like that's quite challenging, though. So, okay, maybe we'll dig into that a bit later. Jennifer, I'm going to throw this one back at you this time. What would your 3 tips be for making a successful experience?
Yeah, totally. One of the tips that I would give is certainly utilizing social media. I know a lot of indie developers do this as well, where they really have to post a lot in order to get more and more followers, because it's just super important to get the word out there about your game. And Tranquility was one of those experiences that actually went through something like that. So I made a post on Twitter, for example, and it got a ton of likes, and it just kind of took off from there. And it ended up being one of the top games on Roblox. It was on the front page for a little while, which was really something for a showcase. It doesn't really have a lot of gameplay, but it does make you experience something. And I think that's honestly almost as important as gameplay. So yeah, I would certainly say number 1 tip would be social media and really getting the word out there that your game is a thing and this is what it is. And then of course, the other 2 tips I would say is performance, of course, should definitely be at the forefront of every developer's mind, no matter what game you're working on. But on Roblox, most of the community is mobile. So, a lot of the player base is just kids playing on phones, so it's really important to make sure that your game is performant. And then, of course, making the communication between you and your community is so important too. Letting them know when an update's coming out, what that update consists of. Even going as far as making a schedule is really important. If you can do that, QA testing, QA teams, just so much. But that would be my top 3.
I think one of the things is we should never underestimate the process and the thought that goes behind these experiences. This is not just a once done kind of thing. There's obviously a lot of kind of revisiting and working on things and sorting bugs. And so, yeah, just kudos for having these experiences that you have that are such good quality, guys. Okay, Sigmund, I'm going to throw the next question over to you. We've had some tips. What are some of the barriers that you come across in creating these experiences, particularly when you really want to build these kind of truly inclusive spaces accessible to everybody? Are there issues around localization, regulation, those sorts of things?
Yeah, one barrier that we've kind of had is how hard it has been to build up the community from our players, or turn our players also into community members. So Roblox has a lot of players, and a lot of young players that play in mobile and maybe never open the chat, or maybe don't even have chat settings, and kind of turning those people to community members is really hard. And then you have to sort of plan around that and make them still feel like a your game player, and more like indirect community players. So on Roblox in particular, there has been some recent improvements on like community tools and kind of places to chat outside your games and so on, but it has been kind of blocking or limiting previously, where people feel they need to flee to Discord or Twitter or, you know, third-party platforms that aren't really regulated, and then you lose such a huge percentage of your players because they don't have those accounts, or they're not old enough to have those accounts, and so on and so on. So I think maybe that's one of them. The other is, since Roblox is sort of not a one-size-fits-all, but Roblox does a lot of the heavy lifting for you when it comes to making your game run nicely on a lot of devices. You have all these streaming services and so on that if you set it up right, it does a lot of work for you. But it also limits you because as a developer, you don't always have access to fine or granular enough stats or options to really fine tune it for a certain device or a certain age group or demographic and so on. So it can be hard kind of treating all your players as the same when you're trying to create something inclusive.
Yeah, no, that really makes sense. And it's great that it sounds like we're heading in the right direction, but obviously I appreciate there's always going to be limits. Jennifer, do you have anything to add on that point?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things for sure is making sure that Roblox Studios tools are a little bit more aligned with the current industry standard. So things like shaders and making sure that our terrain system is pretty solid is also super good. But something that I actually really wanted to highlight on is I've been watching a lot of the Games for Change panels, and I've noticed that there's a lot of development in VR. And, you know, there's not a lot of tools for VR development yet. And I actually think that would be a really good step in the right direction, because if we want people to experience things and be social, VR is certainly a step in the right direction, you know, to really be immersed in that. So yeah, more development in VR tools and just overall tools that developers can use in general, I would say, is my two.
Thank you. And that's really helpful. And actually thinking about how Roblox is growing and developing, as I say, now, you know, nearly half our population on Roblox are over 13. Now, of course, VR wouldn't necessarily be appropriate for younger users. You know, it comes with age recommendations and so on. But as we are aging up, I think that perhaps, yeah, you are going to see more of these kind of real VR experiences coming up. So I'm sure that's an area that you'll probably see developing with new tools over the coming years. Bryan, what barriers do you have? Is that, I mean, as well as things within Roblox, are there other issues around, as I say, regulation or global issues, language even?
So on the development side of Roblox, I do feel that there should be a more smoother, fine-tuned way of connecting kind of offsite tools such as Blender, Maya, with Roblox, such as like bulk importing of animations, or even supporting a faster and smoother workflow for motion capture, which is starting to emerge a lot in Roblox now. And also just funding for games or creating experiences, because a lot of teams do need money to create these experiences and yeah, help out the developers.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think, again, you know, the funding issue, you know, we've started with some gain funds, but I appreciate that that's an area that we'd love to see more growth and more opportunity. Yes, Sigmund.
Yeah, I can also just chime in, like, it's regulations around the world. When you're trying to make something global, regulations and localization can be hard. What I think Roblox does well is help us along the way there with just auto-localizing and ever-improving localization tools, but also regulations when it comes to monetization, for example, or type of content the user can view. Since we don't have that as much granularity as a developer, it's good to know that Roblox at least does the heavy lifting still on those ends and kind of filtering out and allowing us to have APIs we can call to filter the right things. So just wanted to throw that in there as well.
And that has made my day. As one of the people who works with governments and policymakers, law enforcement on these things all the time, it's nice to know that that is kind of being filtered down and is, you know, consistently applied and helpful to the community as well. So thank you. Okay, so as you know, Roblox has this really diverse young and unique developer community. We've talked a bit specifically about how you guys got started, but do you have advice generally for getting started creating on Roblox? So, you know, what tools there are, how do we celebrate the community? Would you say, like, if somebody's starting off, should they think about building around a cause, or should they just build an experience that everybody's going to jump into? What would be your tips for wannabe creators? Bryan, let's start with you.
So Roblox has so many resources from going online, such as the forum. There's Discords that are mainly for development with a ton of awesome people that can help you with anything that you imagine in Roblox. Also, never stop learning. Always challenge yourself with new projects that go beyond your skill level, and you'll always be learning more and more as you go through developing on the platform.
That was a really lovely answer. Jennifer, I'm going to throw to you. Oh, we can't unmute you.
Yeah, I can go first. Meanwhile, yeah, I think always trying to innovate and iterating is really, really important on a platform like Roblox. And from my own experience, it kind of differs from maybe more traditional game development, where you kind of build for a long time and then you release, maybe in closed alpha and whatever. But on Roblox, it's been really easy to, and is really easy to, iterate and release very early and get that raw feedback right away. Of course, that also has some backsides with, you know, if people don't like the first version, the chance they'll come back for the second version is obviously low, but I think the benefits often outweigh the consequences there. And then it's Roblox is also very like trend based. So if you hit the right trend at the right time, you can really just blow up overnight. But I think having that as a goal is maybe aiming very high, because very few actually hit it off so hard overnight. So just having a focus on what you want to create and having fun with your own product is a priority. Making sure the game is fun for you is often an indicator that it's fun for someone else. And then you tweak it until people like it.
And again, that's just so vital, isn't it? It's like build for what you want. And that's a really good starting point. Jennifer, I'm really hopeful we can get you back. Can you unmute? Or 1 second. Okay, we'll come back to you in a minute. She's got to hopefully rejoin us.
Okay,
in just a moment.
is my mic working?
Hey,
okay,
and you're back with us.
That's so weird. Okay,
fantastic.
Whoa.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Sorry about that. Yeah, so I mean, my advice just applies to, I would say, every developer, whether you're on Roblox or off Roblox. But like Bryan mentioned, be a knowledge sponge. You can learn so much on this platform. One of the prime reasons why I joined when I was younger was because I felt like it gave me a lot to work with and a lot to learn all at once. So it was super nice being able to network so quick and get that knowledge really early on, and how to iterate and get projects from start to finish. So yeah, be open-minded, network like crazy, say hi to people. I mean, that's how I got to know you guys. And yeah, I mean, just have a good time and get to know people. And my last piece of advice would be the change that you want to see. Something that is super cool about this panel is that there are two developers, or well, technically three, but two other developers that are super focused on making the world a better place. And I think that's really important. Like, I think games can do so much for the community outside of games in general. So yeah, would be super good to just focus on being the change that you want to see. And yeah, I guess that would be it.
And I mean, yes, Sigmund, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to chime in a little bit on the one of the questions you had, which we really didn't touch, which was develop around a cause or a for-profit experience. And On Roblox, I think you can do both, but I think it's always smart to think fun and engaging and sort of leave an impact with someone first. And then that can build around a cause, or that can build around a for-profit. So one of the things we experienced was like, we didn't really plan a lot of gameplay because we wanted to give them freedom to be animals and explore nature and all of that. But what we also then saw was that a lot of people just want to be entertained. They come on Roblox to disconnect from other things and want to be led around in a game and so on. And then you have the people that just love free playing and love role playing and can role play with a rock and a stick like you would in real life, you know? So like the span of the community is so big that you can probably be successful with both, but have in mind that people do need to enjoy or need to be impacted or, you know, affected by your experience in the end for it to leave them an impression that they want to come back to.
That's really true. I'm just going to ask a quick, so what are your next plans in terms of creating? Are you going to create more of these kind of cause related experiences, or what are your plans for the next 6 months, year? What's coming up? Jennifer.
Yeah, I mean, I would certainly love to create more experiences on the platform that do good for the world. I think it's really important that more people jump on that cause and really focus on that. It's been really inspirational seeing all these different talks going on, because there are so many people that actually have similar missions, but in different realms of the industry. So indie, AAA, that sort of thing. And yeah, it's been super great getting to know what everyone's up to.
Bryan, what's happening with you? Are you going to be updating this experience more, or are you going to, have you got plans for future iterations? What's going on?
Yep, so we're currently working on our current game, which is called Mizu, and in the future, we hope to bring in more teams off the platform, like science teams and labs and aquariums, nonprofits, to get involved with Roblox. Currently, we're involved with the Hydrus, which is a nonprofit 501c3 research team that uses XR technology to develop these amazing experiences to get people connected with the ocean. And they have been super involved with the project, giving us tips on kind of achieving learning objectives, being scientifically accurate within the game design, and also assessment. And I think it's just amazing how experts outside of Roblox can get involved with this platform and work with other developers to create these immersive and realistic environments to teach the younger generation.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you're on mute.
Yes, thanks, Sigmund. What's next for you? Obviously, Untamed Planet is hugely popular, but are we going to continue with this, or have you got plans for new experiences?
Well, I think it's a mission that can never be fully satisfied. You know, we can always improve the games. We can always improve technology and how we take care of the world around us. So I think it's a sort of never-ending work stream. But I live it. You know, I want people to take care of nature and love it as much as I've grown to do. And I think in Roblox perspective, I can never stop creating. Like it's such a vital part of me. Maybe not all of it will be related to having an impact on the world, because it's also fun to just mess around, you know. But I think just this mission and wanting to leave the world in a better place than I found it has grown so strong in me that, you know, it's no matter where I go, no matter which company I'll be at, this is like a primary force driving me forward.
Oh, and I absolutely love that. And it shows you're clearly also committed, and, you know, what you've done is really is inspirational. And, you know, the whole theme of this conference, games for change, well, you really are the epitome of that. So yeah, we're really proud of what you're doing. Well done. Don't stop. In terms of Roblox, we've only got a few minutes left, I'm aware. We want to leave a couple of minutes for questions if people have any. please do think about questions and submit them. But in terms of Roblox and development, you've given us a little bit of feedback on tools and ways that you'd like sort of us to focus on. Where would you like us to be in 5 years or 10 years? What do you think the future of Roblox should be? Bryan, I'm going to come to you first.
I see Roblox in the future being fully phased into the educational curriculum and being used as a primary tool to teach students, and also methodology of like science, being able to actually be in an environment where you can be on the field and be immersed in this world where you're doing real projects and learning for when you actually go into the field, and also a platform where the tools are super user friendly, but also as powerful as a AAA engine, game engine.
We'll keep trying. Jennifer, where would you like to see Roblox going?
Oh man, yeah. As I mentioned earlier, definitely some more updates within the next year on tools and being able to iterate quicker, and just making the software better aligned with industry standard would be super good. And in the next like 10 years, I don't honestly know. 10 years ago, I never thought that I would be able to make this a full-time thing. I was very wrong about that. So I guess a place where anyone can go to just create what they want to create and potentially get income from that, whether that be income for a good cause or income for yourself or both, hopefully. I don't know. You know, that would be my answer.
Thank you. And you have been a success story. And I know that, you know, I'm really happy that Roblox has been part of your pathway to having a full-time career in the games industry. So congratulations. Sigmund, what are your thoughts? What's the future of Roblox look like?
Yeah, lots of thoughts there, but I think it would be interesting to see if there was more connection between the different experiences in games on Roblox. Right now, it's this sort of YouTube or Netflix for games where you kind of pick and match and whatever, but it all feels very separated, like everything is its own little silo or island. So doing something about that where there's maybe cross experience progress or rewards or stuff like that. I know it's happening a little bit, and it will probably grow. The other thing is I'd love to see more connection with the real world again, like to imagine being able to make something like Pokemon Go on Roblox and similar kind of things where you really encourage people to be outside or work out basically while playing Roblox, and kind of taking the step away from just being games, which small steps I've been taking, being more experience based, but more in that direction of really tying things together into your life. Could be really interesting to see.
So Roblox AR. Sounds fun. I'd be really up for that, and it gets everybody moving, as you say. Now we are nearly at time, and I'm sure everybody's really, really valued hearing from you. I'm going to throw it open to you guys. Do you have any closing thoughts, comments, things you'd like to share that we haven't touched on? Please feel free to jump in.
Yeah, I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank you for having the panel. It's always really fun preparing for these panels because it makes you reflect on what you're actually doing. And at least for me, doing this every day is it's awesome, but I sometimes forget how impactful some of this is, and being able to maybe inspire, 1 or 10 people to change a little bit how they do things, or to think a little bit more about how they're making games, for example, is a big win in my book.
That's so good. Thank you. Any last thoughts, Jennifer, Bryan? If not, then we'll open it for Q&A.
Yeah, no, just thanks for having us. I'm going to drop our social links in the session chat so that if you guys want to stay in touch or ask us any questions, feel free to shoot us any sort of DMs or anything like that.
And that's amazing. Thank you. I'm sure people probably will follow up on that because you've been so helpful with your advice and your insight so far. I hope to everybody who's watching, this has given you a really good idea of what it is actually like to be part of Roblox, to create the opportunities that exist for people if they do want to come and sort of help to build these inclusive, meaningful metaverse experiences within our community. You know, certainly we're very proud of the people and the experiences that they have done, and especially these that are really kind of leading the way with these essential causes and raising awareness of really big issues, and the fact that it's so accessible to younger people as well, and really getting them passionate about it. So thank you so much, guys. The Q&A is open. Please do, we'll give you a couple of minutes if anybody has any questions. I haven't seen any in there yet, but if not, as Jennifer said, you're very welcome to follow up outside.
Laura, I actually don't have your LinkedIn here, so I'm not sure if you have a LinkedIn or...
I will find mine.
Okay.
I will drop that in the chat now. Please bear with us, everybody.
There are coming a couple of things in chat, at least one. The latest chat is a question maybe for you, Laura.
I'll just drop this in. Okay, there's my LinkedIn. If anybody wants to get in touch, please feel free. Does Roblox have a place where teachers can submit resources? Not really. We create resources generally kind of with partners. So a lot of the code camps and those sorts of organizations that we work with, we jointly create. We don't really host external resources within Roblox, but certainly drop me a line. We can have a chat. I'll find out a bit more about what it is that you're sort of trying to achieve and whether there's a way that we can assist with that. So please do just drop me a line. Thank you. Anything else? I loved hearing how much you were tapped into what students love to do on Roblox. As a middle school teacher, Sigmund is right on point about the outside experiences. Yes, absolutely, 100%, Susan. I think this is definitely going back to the big boss. Builderman, please take note. Are there any further questions? Because we are literally just going to be at time. I would just like to say, do you recommend any Roblox programs to inspire literacy and English arts? Well, there are so many different experiences. Panel, do you know any off the top of your head that jumping out at you? Again, if you would like to just drop me a line, ping me a message on LinkedIn. I can certainly point you to a couple of resources. We have a huge range of resources already and partnerships that we're working with in terms of some of these educational programs. If you look at Roblox Education, you will come to our education site. And I'm just trying to find the link for you so I can send that now. Sorry, I should have had this pre-prepared. It's very bad, isn't it? But yeah, so all of these resources are available free for everybody. There we go. Have a little look on that site. You'll find lots of things that are useful, but also there are lots of experiences that are based within things like libraries where you can go in and actually walk around and pick up books and things like that. So yeah, I will ping me a line and I will send you some links to some interesting examples. But again, we are at time. Panel, you have been wonderful. This has been such a lovely conversation, and thank you so much for all the amazing work that you're doing. Long may it continue. I'm looking forward to working with you all for a lot longer. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you so much, Games for Change, for having us. That's been fantastic. We'll hopefully see you again next year.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.